Stephanie Thompson / Jenkins, the mother who runs the Resilient Jenkins TikTok page, has been in the spotlight again with lots of criticisms over dirty wash rags.
And you may be wondering why the abundance of washcloths in the bathtub, and here's the reasoning behind that. I gave up on the concept of wet wipes like a freaking few months ago. I lost track of how long it's been since I used wet wipes.
Gloating about making more money than her followers.
You guys still do not see my social media thing as a job when I probably make more than most of you.
While later complaining that they don't have the finances to give their kids a good Christmas.
I'm sitting in here beating myself up because I'm like, I just feel like I wanted to be able to spend so much more on my kids this year.
But also likely spending money on TikTok products for commission, while some sellers are beginning to revoke Stephanie's commission earnings due to her reputation online, sparking drama on top of an already awful situation, as well as rumors of her potentially being pregnant again. I genuinely was not expecting to start my year off talking about the Resilient Jenkins once again, but here we are. But before we get into the nitty-gritty about some more updates regarding Stephanie and Drew, I want to take a moment to talk about something really quick. Instead of waiting until the end of the video to discuss this, you might notice everything behind me is gone. By the end of this week, we are going to be temporarily relocating because we've had some home issues that require renovations and we cannot be here while they are taking place. Regardless, I do apologize for such a delay and gap in between posting videos. I really wanted to get back on the grind of just uploading at least once every 2 weeks, if not once a week. And on top of that, I had 2 videos that I scrapped because they felt really rushed, and I'm really trying to put my heart and soul into a lot of things, even more so than before. Lastly, I want to give you a little bit of a Chester update because I made a post with this really cute picture of him. I feel like a lot of people haven't seen the end of my more recent videos where I've been giving little updates about what's been going on, not just with the house, but with him. Long story short, 2025 has been a wreck of a year. Back in the summer, he was walking a little funny, and what we found out is that he has degenerative myelopathy, which is what a lot of people compare to ALS, but in dogs. It is a little bit different, but basically he is slowly losing his ability to walk properly. He's actually doing really good considering the amount of time he has had this. We do have to assist him a lot, and he does require tools that he hasn't ever needed before, as well as therapy and a lot of other really hefty supportive care. But right now, he's doing okay, and he was just at the doctor's, and his doctor is very, very surprised with how healthy he is, all things considered, and yeah, he's doing really good. And he's out snuggling my husband right now because, again, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Here I am in my office talking about something I wasn't expecting to discuss today, which is the Resilient Jenkins. I was not expecting to start the year off talking about these guys. This has been extraordinarily surprising, to say the least, even for somebody who has covered them previously. So if you don't know who the Resilient Jenkins are, let me catch you up to speed very briefly, but I do want to let you know that I've made previous videos on them that I'll link in the description below if you are interested in a bit more of a deep dive on them. But what you have to know is that the Resilient Jenkins is a family channel on TikTok run by Stephanie Thompson, or Jenkins, with her boyfriend / baby dad Drew, and Drew was heavily criticized at one point for not having a job and always being in the background playing his PlayStation, to the point where people made it a joke to say this was his 9 to PS5 while Stephanie was always doing the cooking, the cleaning, and watching their kids. It seems that he has since gotten a job, but the criticism hasn't stopped due to their poor decisions together as parents, among many other things. Stephanie and Drew have several children, and they had been living in a 1-bedroom apartment. She had gone viral for this video in particular, with over 19 million views on TikTok.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head. Generally, the instant judgment me and my husband receive, why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them? See, my perception is judgment comes from a place of not having the experience. When you've experienced enough, you generally don't judge people. I can tell you after everything I've been through in the past 3 years, there's very little I have to judge people on.
Over the past year or so, a lot of people had been expressing great concerns about their lifestyle in this apartment because Stephanie and Drew would take the main bedroom while allowing their very young children to be sleeping in the living room, where it was very easy for them to get access to things that they shouldn't have access to, like things under the cabinet or things in the kitchen, or even, God forbid, if somebody tried to break in, and these concerns were addressed to Stephanie, and there was a whole thing with that, but little by little she would adjust things here and there. And then it came time to move because they were getting evicted. Turns out that this apartment was really only for Drew and his son, not Stephanie and her children and the children that her and Drew had made together. They had to go, which is a form of irony in and of itself, because Stephanie had been previously posting about how she wants to go viral on TikTok so her baby dad will give her more babies. She would talk about that. She would also talk about how she would want her children to have access to social media, and she wants to give them a head start on social media, and it definitely won't backfire in any way.
I respect people who are like, I don't share my kids on social media. I keep my kids' private life private. Bro, that's your choice. But why come at the moms who don't make that choice? Because I see it completely differently. My kids want to be a part of my videos. They feel like they're on TV. They feel like little celebrities. And they're being little celebrities in a safe space instead of like Nickelodeon. If this is going to be how it continues to be, we're going to make money through social media, or that's just going to be like the livelihood. It's entertainment, which that's how America's always been. That's how the world is. I feel like I'm doing my kids a disservice by not giving them a good start to that. By not giving you like, hey, this is Mitt, Mutt, and Mo. This is their life growing up. And then as they grow up, they're going to want to start their own social medias. And I think it's going to be awesome to have their perspective too. And they'll be like, this is me all grown up. Now I'm going to come prank my mom and take the video on that perspective. I think it's going to be cool.
I find the eviction slightly ironic because had she not made all of these videos, chances are they probably wouldn't have gotten evicted, at least if the reasons for this eviction are accurate, which is what we have known as the public for almost a year at this point. Leading up to their eviction, it was very, very stressful, intense for anybody that was watching this happen and unfold as the date was coming closer and closer, because they weren't doing anything. They weren't actively trying to find decent housing. They weren't packing anything up.
I wanted to start this video off by saying thank you to everybody who's taken the time to reach out and let us know of housing resources that you know of. Both Drew and myself have called every single one of those resources, as well as every resource 211 has given us. But unfortunately, just like we were met with months ago when we tried to relocate, every resource that I've called is just tapped out in this area. We're not completely locked into staying in this area. We are open to moving a little bit out of the area if that's what we need to do. But it would be great to stay in the area and keep the kids in the school they're well established in. Like I mentioned, our income has not changed too drastically from the last time that we tried to apply for other apartments. That being said, we still don't qualify income-wise for anything more than a 2-bedroom. Maximum capacity for most 2-bedrooms is 5 people, and we have 7.
It was like they were waiting for something to happen and fall into their lap rather than being proactive and trying to think about what the hell they want to do when they have a set deadline and time frame.
It's move-out day tomorrow, and in case you didn't catch on, we did not find a place, so we will be going to a hotel and getting a storage unit. And no, I will not be taking my mom up on her offer on me and my kids going to stay with her. That is just not going to happen. That lady popping up right now, it sickens me, honestly. And that's all I'm saying about that, because a part of me that's healed on everything that she brought on my past just does not want to spend any time on her.
Just to give you an idea of what that means, I don't know, for example, maybe you know a month ahead that you are going to be not in your current living condition, so instead of waiting until the last minute to do every single little thing and pack up every little single thing, maybe you can get started on a few things, right? And be prepared. And if a miracle happens and you don't have to leave, great. Preparing ahead of time is a good thing. They did not do that. They did not prepare ahead of time. They waited until the last minute, and it was very stressful, and people were very frustrated and concerned because it seemed extraordinarily irresponsible. It was really hard to see, and it's really hard to watch as somebody. I've seen people in real life do things like this. I've seen people act this way and do stuff like this, and it makes me stressed on a deeper level than I can explain to see it unfold online. So moving forward a little bit, they get to this motel/shelter area In my last video, I mentioned it as a motel. Many people corrected me saying that this was actually a shelter for them, and that explains more on why every so often they would have to relocate for a day or two and then come back. Long story short though, a lot of people have noticed the decrease in hygiene. There's a family with multiple children living in a single room space with one bathroom, barely a kitchen area, and Stephanie would do the dishes that they had in the bathtub. And a lot of people had noticed, myself included, that when she was washing her dishes at one point, there were bugs on the dish rag. And if that wasn't bad enough, there are updates to this. Before we continue, I wanted to take a moment to talk about a brand named Otter Spirit, who was kind enough to send me some bracelets to show to you guys. Otter Spirit is a small family-owned brand from Monterey Bay, California, that launched in 2023 with the goal to produce beautiful jewelry, with each bead being handpicked to tell its own story. Otter Spirit uses authentic natural crystals, and they also provide a 2-year guarantee with their products. For every bracelet purchased, $1 is donated towards helping sea otters. I think it's a wonderful cause. Who doesn't love sea otters? Look at them, they're so cute. Otter Spirit was kind enough to send me 6 bracelets, and no, I'm not being overconsumption final boss. I'm only keeping 2 of them. The rest of them are going to family and friends for the holidays. And first things first, they come in these really nice boxes. They have a nice magnetic opening and closing, and in each box is a card that tells you about the crystal that your bracelet is made out of. So for most of the bracelets, you could pick between 2 sizes, small beads or large beads, and most of the bracelets I picked out, especially for my friends and family, are on the smaller side. They can go with pretty much anything you wear in the smaller sizes, and the bigger ones to me seem more of like a statement or a focus piece. This is aquamarine, and each bracelet has this adorable otter charm on it, and I really like this bracelet. It's like a translucent blue. So this next bracelet is for another one of my friends. This is Celestite. I think I'm saying that correctly. This is very similar to the aquamarine bracelet, except for instead of it being translucent, it is very opaque, and it has that really pretty soft blue to it. The next bracelet I actually chose for my husband, and yes, you can be a guy and still enjoy this. I picked out amethyst for him. Otters are also one of his favorite animals, and he is the only one that saw his bracelet. He not only loves this bracelet, but he is also really excited about the whole otter aspect of it. This is actually for my mom. Her 2 favorite crystals are amethyst and tiger's eye, and she has a lot of amethyst stuff, so I decided, especially since I was giving my husband the amethyst, why not give her the tiger's eye? And this bracelet is absolutely stunning. So the first of the 2 bracelets that I am keeping is this one. It is a citrine bracelet. That is one of my birthstones. The other one is topaz, but citrine is this beautiful gold color. So this is the other bracelet that I'm keeping. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is selenite, and I just love how it reflects and is so bright. I know a little bit about selenite, and the thing is, selenite is very delicate. It is a very delicate mineral. I feel like Hank from Breaking Bad.
It's not a rock. This is a mineral.
It is a very soft stone, and it is also water soluble, which means that personally, I'm not going to be showering with this on. I'm not going to be wearing this if I have to do a lot of cleaning and I need to wash my hands a lot. Cleaning it, if you want to use a damp cloth, I would make sure that the cloth is just very, very slightly damp. I mean, just the tiniest bit damp. Just enough to get any dirt off of it. And I knew this before picking this one out. Thank you so much to Otter Spirit for sending me these beautiful, beautiful bracelets, not just for myself, also for my family and friends who I will be gifting them to, except for this one and the citrine. If you're interested in Otter Spirit for yourself, or maybe for a gift for somebody else, you could check my link in the description below and use code tehmimi20 to get 20% off of your order. Or if you have an order that is $99 or more, you can use tehmimi30 to get 30% off of your order. Thank you so much to Otter Spirit for sending me these bracelets. I'm still wearing mine right now. My other bracelet is still right here, and the other bracelets which I have since given to my family and friends. And yeah, let's get back into today's topic.
Yo, let's get into it. This is my part of Sunday Reset after Babe had already done his. But let me start by saying that if you're new here, welcome. Hi, we're the Resilient Jenkins. We are a family of 7 that live in a motel currently. But let's get right into the Sunday Reset. I had a butt ton of laundry, as you can see, that I needed to do, and my goal was to get every single one of these loads done except the blankets. I knew that wasn't gonna happen.
I thought it couldn't get any worse than the situation they're already in. I thought, rock bottom was the maggot on the cloth that was visible in this clip here that we've gone over before. But apparently not. Apparently somehow it can get a lot worse. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to throw up in my mouth as I discuss this. So, in a more recent video, Stephanie began discussing how she no longer uses baby wipes or wet wipes, whatever you want to call them, to clean her babies when they go to the bathroom in their diapers. Instead, if they go number 2 in their diapers, I suppose, she takes them to the bathtub, the same bathtub that she washes their dishes in, and washes them off. Apparently, she claims that she could do this up to 3 times a day. Let's take a look.
And you may be wondering why the abundance of washcloths in the bathtub, and here's the reasoning behind that. I gave up on the concept of wet wipes like a freaking few months ago. I lost track of how long it's been since I used wet wipes. But I have next level squirmy toddlers when it comes to being changed, and I'm not trying to have poo all over my freaking elbows, so I'd rather just pop them babies in the shower every time. And if that means they need to have 3 showers a day, so friggin' be it.
She then claims that her audience could learn a thing or two by this.
I say you do what you do, I do what I do type of situation, because you want to sit there and judge me, baby, you could learn some things from me, okay?
Learn about what exactly? How to contract the plague? People have noticed that there are insects in this location. People have noticed that no matter how much you clean, no matter how much you mop your walls and vacuum your grass or whatever, that your living space always seems to be unhygienic. And to be fair, she has multiple children. I can understand constantly feeling the need to clean up after them. There is no excuse for having bugs on your washcloth. While this is not an excuse, perhaps we now have a reason, which is that she claims that since she no longer uses baby wipes to clean her babies after they, after she needs to change their diaper, she leaves the towels in the bottom of the tub and they sit there. Is she washing these rags with the rest of the laundry?
I needed to get some more laundry soap, but they shot needed a new jacket worse. More, not worse. So we're gonna make this last. I only have 3 loads. This should be fine.
But it gets worse, dear viewers. It gets worse. After receiving a lot of criticism, Stephanie made a video talking about her washcloths, and as you could imagine, it does not go well.
Honestly, y'all, I can't tell sometimes if you just like to make up crap because it benefits your views and you like continually see the pattern of every time you speak some crazy crap about me, you get the views. And, whatever. So let's break it down for you. I really think I didn't separate them. I'm washing my baby's bums with the same rags that I wipe the floors and I do cleaning with. No, man, come on now. Blue ones are all of our body wash rags. The kids know this stuff too. Any of the microfiber are all of the cleaning rags that do not get used on our bodies. The miscellaneous ones that I have are what you like to call the doo-doo rags, and I'm going to touch base on that too. Separate from all of those, we have the face wash rags, which I need to get more of, but we still have them and they're separate from everything else.
Okay, so the colors here are important, so let's review. The navy colored towels are for cleaning your body. The microfiber towels are for cleaning the house. And the other colors, such as the green and the white and multicolored towels there, are for cleaning her baby's behinds when they have dirty diapers instead of using wet wipes. This is all what she had just said. That being said, however, people immediately pointed out in the comments of this video, as well as other video examples, that she used these greenish towels to clean her bathroom before, and she used a darker color towel, the one with the maggot on it, to wash the dishes in her tub. And let's take it a step further. If you look at her bathtub when she is doing her other video, she's wringing out darker towels that look like they have been sitting there in the tub for a while, as well as other clothing, and even a makeup brush is in there. I don't even want to know why. Nevertheless, instead of addressing any of that, maybe clarifying prior to posting this video that, oh, well, we used to use these towels for this, but now we use them for that, or maybe saying, oh, we got new towels, because you would think that if she wasn't being dishonest, she would clarify that more, because it would be very easy for people to go back and fact check her. I digress. She doubles down.
I don't know why it's such an issue that I prefer to use rags versus wipes. There's many reasons why I went into this, and it didn't just happen. Okay, there's a few occasions where Drew was at work and he couldn't bring wipes to me, and I just, I didn't have wipes on hand, so I used the washcloth, and I ended up liking it a lot better because just my preference. I mean, I feel it's no different than people who choose to use cloth diapers. I mean, they're going to be rinsed out, washed, and reused, and that's the same thing that's going on with these rags.
Even though, as many people pointed out in the comments below, that wiping your babies up and then leaving the towels on the bathtub floor for God knows how long probably harbors a lot of bacteria. Additionally, I don't know much about cloth diapers. I can't speak on that. I have heard people discussing in the comments of this video that when they use cloth diapers, they wash them right away in their own laundry cycle, not with other clothes or at a public laundromat. If you are more aware of that, please feel free to educate in the comments down below. But I feel as though there is a difference between using a cloth diaper and making sure that that remains hygienic versus wiping your babies up with rags and then leaving them in your bathtub for a period of time, the same bathtub that you wash your dishes in, and then taking all of the rags and possibly washing them together in a public laundromat. That's a little unhygienic in my opinion, and no, she does not clarify, at least that I could see in this video, on whether or not she washes all of these towels together.
I don't like to sit there and fuss with a bag of wipes. I don't like to have to use 20 plus wipes on one doo-doo diaper. Washcloths, it's an easy process. Just warm up the rags, warm water. It's a lot more comfortable for the kids. You do what works for you.
There's another thing she points out here that is extremely concerning to me, is that she just uses warm water on the rags. She doesn't necessarily mention anything about soap, which there should be certain types of baby soap. I digress. When you are washing anything with a rag that can collect lots of bacteria, unless you're immediately throwing that into some sort of cleansing system after you're done using it, I think it needs more than warm water. And as we can see, it seems that she just leaves them in the tub.
And it doesn't have to work for everybody else. But going around making up bullcrap about people using dirty cleaning rags on their baby's bum just because it benefits your views,
Stephanie, people were actually concerned that you were just neglecting to use wet wipes and using these rags on your baby's dirty behinds after filling their diapers. And you yourself recorded picking up wet, drenched rags out of the bathtub with several other wet, drenched things in the same bathtub, claiming that it was a refresh, clean day. What interpretation is anybody supposed to get from that?
honey, there's a special place, is all I gotta say. People need to learn to just be kind. It's not that hard. Stick in your own freaking lane. It's not that hard.
A special place for who, specifically? People who fail to take care of their children and prioritize other things and men over them? Also, speaking of prioritizing things, people like you, to be honest, should learn better priorities, in my opinion. Also, I don't know if this is a coincidence, if anybody else has noticed this, but is it a thing that when people who are very obviously aware that they're not treating their children correctly, or that they're just doing not the best, always try to say things like stay in your own lane when you try to criticize them for doing something very obviously not okay to their kids? And there are plenty of people who have been saying the same and ringing alarm bells for over a year at this point about this family channel.
For me personally, I want prolonged success, and if that takes me longer because I'm not going the greedy route, so be it.
She then goes on a tangent about talking about prolonged success. I'm assuming comparing herself to people who talk about her and share their concerns about her online. And she's talking about greed as if she is in any particular place to do so. We'll get into that more later.
I'm not doing that. I have no control over what people believe about me. I can only control what I put forward and what I continue to do with my own life. And it's sometimes I'll sit there and I'm like, should I address it? Because it's friggin' wild that people would think that. But then I'm like, who cares?
I do appreciate the self-awareness she has at least a little bit here, because it is good general advice that you can't control what other people think about you, but you know what you can control? Say it with me. Your own priorities. You had many opportunities to give your kids a better life. You had many opportunities to take them somewhere that they could thrive a bit more and where you could save more money and get them a better living situation, but you cater to other things more than them, in my personal opinion, of course.
You're gonna think what you're gonna think anyway, so.
I think this is a very interesting choice of words here that she ends this TikTok with. You're gonna believe what you're gonna believe. Shortly after this, again, is when she started getting a lot of comments underneath this video pointing out that she has used these doo-doo rags, she calls them, for cleaning purposes. And also another account known as the Resilient Grifters, which seemingly is an account dedicated to pointing out a lot of the Resilient Jenkins contradictions, made this video here, which I find extremely interesting.
I really think I didn't separate them. I'm washing my baby's bums with the same rags that I wipe the floors and I do cleaning with. No, man, come on now. The miscellaneous ones that I have are what you like to call the doo-doo rags.
Yeah, like, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. That stuff that accumulates at the bottom from the dripping of your toothbrush. I mean, you should be, I'm just saying, take care of your friggin' toothbrush. It's about time to get this nasty.
There was music playing in the background of this part of the video that I'm cutting out because of copyright purposes, obviously.
But going around making up bullcrap about people using dirty cleaning rags on their baby's bum just because it benefits your views? Honey, there's a special place. It's all.
And if that's not bad enough, I think I mentioned this just a few moments ago, but she uses these darker colored rags here to clean her bathtub and dishes, and this darker color rag is the one that a few months ago a lot of people pointed out seemingly had a maggot on it.
I'm cleaning out the tub because I'm about to do all these dishes in here because there's way too many of them in that tiny sink again. I don't know why I was even doing that all this whole time, to be honest with you. Either way, it's gonna hurt my back, so I might as well do it where it's gonna be quick. No.
Do you know what maggots are attracted to? Do you want to take a wild guess? I'm not saying that this was one of the poop rags. I'm just saying that regardless, this is very unhygienic, and this looks like those darker colored rags she mentioned earlier, which would lead into the inconsistency that has already been pointed out by other commenters and TikTokers, and I guess now myself at this point. There possibly could be an explanation for this, but adding all of this up makes me at this current point not believe her currently in claiming that there are separate rags for separate usages. Also, just to go back here on this clip, because even though we've talked about this in a previous video, I'm not going to show the full TikTok live clip because it is quite lengthy, but I just want you to know that that part of the video where you see what looks to be a maggot on that towel and she goes, "Oh, F no," and wipes it away, that was before she started washing the dishes and filled the tub and cleaned the tub with the rags that she has in her hands, one being that particular rag.
You're in bully someone who ain't got shit to do with you. All because I could never. And that's the thing, you never could. You could never do this. If you sit here and judge me, you could never. These guys called beans. You do the same thing when you're watching all these videos of people who really can't do anything about the condition because I'll be doing what I can daily.
Again, this is not the full clip. There is a much longer clip. If I can find it, I will link it in the description below. That being said, however, we're moving on to another incident that has recently happened, unrelated to this entire dirty rag situation. She had this moment, I guess, in a live stream where she crashed out and started talking about how she makes so much money from TikTok.
You guys still do not see my social media thing as a job when I probably make more than most of you. I could give a frick.
Which later turns out, leading up to the holidays, she talks about how she is disappointed that she couldn't get X, Y, and Z for her children and that they only had a $200 spending limit for their kids.
It's affecting us that much more because we have that many more people who rely on us financially. How is it not making sense? How does it not line up to you that we're doing what we can financially? It sucks for me too that we don't have any Christmas decorations up. I'm the type of person that wants it to look like full North Pole in my house as soon as November or December 1st hits. But that's not how we are financially. We weren't expecting for Drew to have to take some time off work, for me to end up sick. Sets us back a little bit. Not to mention we ended up having a $350 ticket that we ended up having to take care of. We weren't expecting that, but we took care of it. Yeah. Sucks that we do not have Christmas set up for our children yet.
So she starts out by saying after the 15th, they are going all out with Christmas.
But we know that we're going to do the best we can to make it a magical Christmas despite. And it may just be a fat 10-day Christmas nonstop, make you sick of Christmas for 10 days straight, because as soon as the 15th hits, we will be doing what we can to celebrate Christmas.
Then there's another video she later uploads where she talks about having a budget of $200 and getting the rest of their Christmas gifts at the dollar store.
It's at the dollar store to get the rest of the gifts because the budget was $200. Spent $230 at Fred Meyer, which I still think is immaculate considering what I got. So I'm actually pretty proud of that. But I'm gonna head to the dollar store for, you know, just the less little nicky-nacky stocking stuffer wrapping paper.
Which, by the way, that is not something to shame somebody for in and of itself. We're going to get into why this is a concern. Financially, times are tough for a lot of people out there, and doing what you could do is enough. When it comes to Stephanie, though, what really bothers me, again, we'll get into this more, there's an Amazon Wishlist scandal, as well as her having a TikTok shop thing going on, which, again, goes into this pattern of priorities, but we're not there yet.
I'm sitting in here beating myself up because I'm like, I just feel like I wanted to be able to spend so much more on my kids this year. And then I started thinking to myself, like, what was the first year I really remember the gifts that I got? Like, what year did they start really meaning something to me? And it really wasn't until I was about 12, 13. And I remember specifically because it was this one year that I asked for a Walkman and Rebecca St. James CD and Stacey Rico. What you know about that? Like, I remember that year the most.
Later on, seemingly in the same video, she talks about how she's sitting here beating herself up over not being able to do more for her kids, but in the same breath tries to cope about it by saying, well, you know, the first Christmas I really remember having anything significant was when I was in my early teens.
I do remember there was this year when my mom was single that she got blessings and donations from churches and other resources, and our living room was literally packed. I remember the abundance of gifts, but do I remember anything specifically, like gift-wise? No, not really. And I really do feel like you have to, like, do it for the age, you know what I'm saying? Like, the experience, yes, but at the same time, like, is your kid old enough to value the experience that you're spending thousands on? That's up to you to decide, but for me and Drew personally, we've decided we're not going to even beat ourselves up for the fact that we can't do an abundance of gifts this year because it's not the year we want to do it. We want to wait till our kids are like preteen, a little bit, or, you know, first teenage year, 13, 14, whatever. And we just want to go crazy and, like, spoil the crap out of them with stuff that's going to last a few more years that they're going to be interested in.
Basically, basically saying that they don't really plan on doing a big Christmas for their kids at any point until they get older, because chances are they're not going to remember the gifts they get. You know what they are going to probably remember though, Stephanie? Being stuck in a motel with all of their brothers and sisters and their parents not showing them the priorities that they need and deserve. And this isn't just about presents, obviously. This is about all of the general things they require to be able to function normally. And their parents are bragging about how much money they make on TikTok, claiming they make more money than the people in their own audience.
You guys still do not see my social media thing as a job when I probably make more than most of you.
And then later on saying, well, we can't really do much for Christmas this year. And we didn't even get into the rest of it.
For a while. And I mean, that works for our family. I do still, I'm gonna beat myself up because there's things that they specifically asked for that we just weren't able to get on time or weren't able to get, period, because $50 for one toy is just steep in my opinion. Especially considering that's something that Bow Show is gonna be freaking broken. So
$50 might be steep for some people when they're talking about one gift for one child, especially when you have multiple children. But Stephanie herself was just talking about earlier how the first Christmas she remembered was when she got a Walkman and some CDs that she really wanted. So I'm assuming those are items that she did in fact receive. And if there's something that a child really, really wants, and then they get that for Christmas, that is going to bring a lasting impact on their memory, and they're going to remember that if it's something they genuinely want, whether it ends up broken in the future or not. That being said, there is a bit more concern by Stephanie's audience with what may or may not be going on with some of their financial issues. But when it comes to spending, there's also some very strange things she decides to put her money towards that, in my opinion, somebody with a rational thought might not want to do. But who knows, maybe this is something that is more common than I think, and I am just a little bit sheltered with my cuisines. But there is one TikTok that Stephanie makes where she has a bunch of nuts, a bunch of dates, a bunch of random things, and 4 huge tubs of peanut butter. And peanut butter can be fairly expensive, to be fair. And she makes what she is considering a homemade peanut butter cup, as well as trying to do crafts with her kids at the same time.
Hey besties, how's everybody doing? I don't know if y'all have had one of them loaded peanut butter cups, but those things are freaking delicious. And about a week ago, I thought to myself, why don't me and the kids get together some little supplies here and make some ourselves? See, I'm a sucker for a craft that can double up as a snack, okay? So with my idea and my free will, I took my little behind to Winco and I got us some supplies. And I listed those at the beginning of the video, so I'm not gonna say them again now, but I will tell you, don't get them freaking dried dates. Those were disgusting.
I also want to add in here that the cost of baby wipes or wet wipes is probably significantly less than any single ingredient in this peanut butter cup thing that she made here. Probably by a lot. And the comments in this video were pointing that out as well. At first I thought, well, maybe they're going to spread this out and make it like some sort of peanut brittle or bark, put it in the fridge, maybe drizzle some chocolate on the top to make it more of that Reese's peanut butter cup with maybe some more nutritious things like healthy nuts and seeds and whatnot. No. She just takes a bunch of nuts and seeds and dates and whatever else and mixes it up in a jar of peanut butter. And forgive me if this is something that is a more common food than I imagine it to be, but this looks like actual shit that she is eating. It looks like doo-doo. She then goes on a tangent that I'm not even going to play in this video about her cats that she had. I don't feel like getting rage baited over these cats again. Just know that the cats that she abandoned are in a very good and happy environment now after she had kicked them out of their previous apartment instead of taking people up on their offers to take the cats. That's all I'm going to say. If you want to know more about that, I've discussed it in length in my previous videos. She still seems to be butthurt about the fact that somebody else took the cats in and that they are having a very happy life now. At the very least, regardless, it seems like a waste of money in my opinion. You're buying all of these expensive ingredients to make something that doesn't look like it tastes that great, but hey, you know what? I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you like the peanut butter doo-doo mixture, bon appetit, I guess. Just going to the priorities again, there's another thing that really bothers me, which is in this TikTok, where she is complaining how her and Drew have nothing because of the kids that they have.
Decided that I wanted my samples and everything over here just to keep them out of the way, try to keep them away from the children. Because when I tell you, me and Drew have literally had nothing of our own not be ruined up in here, like...
They don't have a place to store things like, I guess, like snacks or whatever else because their kids always get into it.
I cannot wait to have a bedroom separate from my children.
I'm not trying to be a... But what did you expect when you signed up to be a parent? Your world flips upside down and you have multiple children and you have also made decisions that have led you into a place where you are sharing one single room with all of them. I could understand the frustration, truly. I think that that would be something that could get to people easily, but in this situation specifically, I think you have larger things to worry about. Moving on, there are other posts that Stephanie has recently made, kind of crashing out over people telling her to get a job.
I've been wanting to go back to work, so y'all be get a job. I've literally been wanting to go back to work for months now. It's just not in the books for us right now.
I'll be frank, if she's genuinely making a decent income doing what she's doing, then so be it. I do still have an issue with earlier on how it seemed like Drew wasn't working or doing much of anything to help out. It seems like he has gotten better at doing that, which genuinely good on him for stepping up a little bit here, but their priorities are still not where they need to be in order to get themselves in a better situation. And if they don't reevaluate that, they're probably going to be stuck in this situation for a lot longer than they think they will be.
If you honestly have the audacity to sit there and discredit the position that a mom holds in this world, that's on you, and I have like nothing more to say to you besides that. Like if I were to compare my to-do list with the to-do list that I used to have when I was at work and it was just my daily task for an 8-hour shift, ain't no way it compares anything to what I have to do in a day, an 8-hour, 12-hour shift of being a mom. It's nothing compared to it. But you made the choice to have kids and it's totally on you. Yeah, honey, I get that, but also it still does not discredit everything that a mom does. It just does.
I understand. She has multiple children. She's a stay-at-home mom. I know stay-at-home moms. I know that it can be a lot of work. It could be a full-time job in and of itself. And I don't think anybody is trying to take that away from her. What people are trying to explain to her is that even though she is doing all of this, they are not giving their children what their children need. And they're still doing concerning things that are questionable at best. Like their one kid just casually eating drywall in the background of one of their videos. Or at least that's what it looks like from this one clip that has been re-uploaded to another TikTok page. By the way, I just want to point out that I did not add the audio in this clip. This is another clip from the Resilient Grifters page. I don't know why this person that you're about to hear sounds like Dale Gribble.
I can't believe this. Alice is eating the paint chips off the fucking wall. I'll be damned. I fucking knew it.
People are not judging her for being a mother of multiple children. They're voicing valid criticisms and concerns for continuously wanting to bring more and more children into the world, and we'll get into that more in a moment, while living in a situation like this that is just blatantly unrealistic and unfair to continuously be having more children in, especially when it comes to the concerns about the conditions that their children are living in, not just the motel itself, but the care that they are receiving, which I'm not going to dive into too much in this video because it gets really dark and I don't want to get myself that upset right now. Along with this comes with another situation that has caused her audience to lose even more trust than they have already lost previously, because Stephanie is notorious for not being the most honest person when it comes to her explanations, at least in my opinion. This is when the Amazon wishlist situation comes in. There was this Amazon wishlist, I suppose they had, or an Amazon cart. It kind of changes every time she talks about it.
To take a second and address, because people are still asking me, even though I did post about this, but I'll say it again. Drew and I did not post any wish lists. We did not post wish lists. So if you're seeing wish lists pop up in Drew's name or in my name, somebody did that. If you want to know, like, they next level trolling, they put cat stuff on these wish lists. Like, yo, they want something to talk about. They want something to talk about. And I really do appreciate those of you that purchased items off the wish list thinking that it was legitimate and you just had the intentions of blessing the children. Luckily, the items are getting here because they actually used the address of the motel. They went through steps of making it look as legitimate as possible by using like our names, the address of the motel, this and that.
Regardless, she had somewhat of an Amazon wish list that apparently she claims that she didn't share with people. Somehow, though, people were starting to notice that she did have an Amazon wish list and that things were popping up in the background of their videos that were on these Amazon wish lists, which is, if I'm understanding correctly, why people began to express concern. Stephanie's reasoning for this is that somebody hacked their Amazon account, and instead of taking their credit card information or using their information to buy stuff and send it to whoever hacked them, which is what you would think a hacker would do, out of the goodness of the hacker's heart, not only did they hack their account, but they used, I guess, their own money to get stuff for Stephanie and Drew's children that just so happened to be on the wish list.
Let me ask y'all something. If you receive an item that you know you have on your Save for Later in your Amazon cart, knowing you didn't give that information to anybody, are you going to show gratitude or are you going to be a little freaked out? See, I found it odd when people kept telling me that me and Drew shared a wish list over the holidays when I knew damn well we didn't. And while I'm not going to lie and say that we didn't receive anything, because we did receive some stuff that was on a wish list that I didn't even share. Which means there's only one explanation of that. Somebody hacked into our Amazon and took it upon themselves to share a wish list. And they've gone even further because they've taken items that I've had in the cart and just sent them to us.
But then the story changes to whatever this is.
Like I was saying, over the holidays and just recently, we have received some stuff that is directly on our Amazon cart. In our Amazon cart, my bad. And here's the thing with it. I get that when you post yourself on social media, you do open up the possibility for people to be weirdos and take it upon themselves to be like, I know your address, I can do this, I can do that. But in my opinion, that does not make it right. Now we're to it because I really just find it odd that people take it upon themselves to get into somebody's Amazon account and order stuff directly from their cart and think that they're doing them a favor, and it's not freaking creepy and weird. You know every bit of my kids' clothing sizes and everything I have saved in my Save for Later with no permission whatsoever. I never asked you to send anything to my kids because, quite frankly, whoever's doing this is low-key a stalker weirdo.
Needless to say, I think it's pretty obvious, if you could tell by my demeanor. I don't believe this. I personally think it's a little far-fetched. I don't think things are adding up. Some people are speculating on if maybe they don't remember buying all of this stuff and they're assuming somebody hacked them. Or what if she is being stalked by somebody and instead of, I don't know, taking it to authorities, being like, hey, I think I have a stalker here. People keep purchasing things that are in my children's clothing size and showing up at our front door. Instead of doing that, she's like, well, I might as well keep it. I mean, it's already here. We should put it to use.
And I'm tossing between, like, I'm grateful and I'm also creeped out because why would you take it upon yourself to hack into somebody's Amazon and send them stuff that they didn't ask you for whatsoever? I never asked you to send anything to my kids because, quite frankly, whoever's doing this is low-key a stalker weirdo. But then, Stephanie, why keep the stuff? Why not just give it back and send it back? Because here's, like I said in the last video, if you caught up, there comes a point in time when you have to ask yourself, is these items, these things that people are sending us going to benefit my kids? Probably. So my stubborn ass needs to set aside my ego and realize that the stuff is already here. Might as well freaking keep it so it can benefit my children, right?
Sure, but shouldn't you be more concerned and, like, you know, report that? Or be like, hey, you know, maybe we should relocate because somebody knows where we live and we have children here and they could be at a safety risk? Because that would terrify me, and that's why I really don't think that it's a good idea that people share their children on public social media in this way. Speaking of which, it seems like Stephanie has taken a step back from sharing her kids on social media as much. And now she is just constantly reviewing products on TikTok.
Skip the reviews. I don't blame you, but we're gonna be reviews back to back and we're starting off strong, okay? This is their woman's multivitamin with 21 key nutrients. I've been using this for a little over a week now and I love it. My kid, listen, I may not know a thing about skincare, but I am noticing a difference after only 3 uses with this product. The bottles are adorable. And that's satisfying. Honestly, y'all, I wanted to keep this one for myself because freaking adorable. So, I think it kind of speaks for itself that they're all gone, right? Right, yeah. My family, we're big on gummy candies, and it's been hard for us to try to find a replacement for candy because we're particular about the texture and the taste. Just gummy candy, you know what it is. I mean, you do. But this one, shameless. You got us hooked.
Now, here's the thing that I want to make crystal clear before continuing. I am not trying to knock Stephanie for promoting products on her TikTok shop. I have a different issue with this, but let me get this out of the way first. A lot of TikTokers promote products on TikTok shop from what I can see. When I'm scrolling through TikTok, about 50% of them seem to be TikTok shop ads. But I understand that people are getting commission. They are earning from this. And not only that, but if they're promoting, say, a small business, for example, it helps that business as well. It is a mutual benefit for both the creator and the business owner. That being said, she was just complaining that she couldn't afford things for her children for Christmas. But she's promoting and getting commission from a lot of these items on TikTok shop. And this is where I need your help if you're somebody who knows about influencing on TikTok, I suppose. Keep this in the back of your mind for now. We have to dive into something in a second, but at one point, Stephanie calls herself a customer to one of the products she is promoting, and one does not normally call themselves a customer if they are not paying for the product. I've heard mixed things on TikTok when it comes to reviewing products. I've heard that sometimes you can get things for free as long as you do a review, but then I've heard other times it's an affiliate where you have to purchase the product and do a review, but then you can get commission. So please let me know in the comments down below if you know more about that, because that would really piss me off if she's spending all of this money on this type of stuff when she's actively complaining about not being able to give her kids a decent Christmas. That would be unhinged, in my opinion. But I don't want to just jump to that conclusion. I want to be certain and make sure that she's not getting this product for free, but to my understanding, it could go either way. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. But let's back up for a second. In one of Stephanie's TikTok product reviews where she was gaining commission from her review, she was promoting a product from something called Revive Homestead, if I am remembering correct. I don't know much about this brand particularly, but what I do know is that a lot of people had gone from Stephanie's review and gone to the business owner, or the TikTok shop owner in this case, I guess, and were, I guess, bombarding her with tons of comments and messages saying, don't work with her, she's a really not great person to affiliate your brand with. And eventually the brand owner came out and made a couple TikToks discussing who many realized to be Resilient Jenkins. This would be later confirmed by a response from Stephanie, but let's get into these TikToks by the brand owner first.
It means that anybody can add it to their showcase and promote. And 99% of the time, this is great. It works totally fine, and we love our affiliates. But this morning, I woke up to a message informing us of a creator that was sharing about our products and just cautioning us and letting us know we should probably go check out their videos. So I did. And just let me be very clear, just because somebody posts a video about our product does not mean that we are, for one, associated with them, but two, condone anything else they post on their page.
I'm not sure how the rules on TikTok go when it comes to not wanting a particular creator to promote your product, but when it comes to the public pressure online, I can understand that when you have a product that you are not actively sending out and picking people to promote that product, anybody can just promote that product if they wish. It can be a bit concerning when somebody problematic promotes that product, and I can understand the anxiety it would cause for the brand owner to be bombarded with messages about, hey, this not so great person is promoting your product, you really need to do something about it.
If you've been following our TikTok affiliate situation, I just wanted to give a super quick update this morning. So I basically spent my entire day yesterday working on this, which really sucks, but it's fine. We're just gonna get this taken care of. I was able to figure out how to have the promotion, selling, commissions piece revoked. And that took place at midnight last night, and it's gone. There's no more link on the video. But I'm still trying to get the video itself down because I've been getting so many messages and emails, and it's super overwhelming. Just telling me how bad it is to be associated with this person, and I don't want to be. So I've submitted complaints on the video itself, and I'm talking to the TikTok shop, like help people. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the video itself taken down, so I just want to make sure that anybody that lands on our page understands that we are in no way associated with this account.
Brands have dropped people that they have actively reached out to for a lot less than what Stephanie Jenkins has done. Now, does that make the person in the right or the wrong? That's up for you to decide. Personally, I kind of feel bad for this person under the circumstance that it seems like they had no idea about Stephanie Jenkins and this entire situation was just dropped on them, at least from my understanding from what we have seen from these two TikToks. Moving on, however, Stephanie had made a response to this and was very unhappy about it.
I have no control over everything that people have to say and repost about me and make their content and make their money off me.
She clearly seems very upset. I almost feel bad for her. It sounds like she's getting choked up, but at the same time, we have to realize that when it comes to accounts like Stephanie's, where she is exploiting her family and situation and prioritizing the wrong things and questionable behavior, it's understandable why a brand would not want to be associated with that.
I mean, you made a video addressing it, so I kind of only feel like it's right for me to do so as well. Everybody has access to my page. They have access to knowing who I am prior to giving me collab offers. And I understand that's an open collab offer and you can take it back. I don't think the nasty messages needed to be a part of this. I don't think the misunderstanding about my public image had to reflect on a collab offer. You could have just as easily disregarded all the hate because it'll pass by, but you're into content too. You realize that a lot of times people can spin and have negative things to say about you that aren't true.
The entitlement on this is insane to me because basically what she is saying is that she is just expecting brands to get over any type of hatred or backlash that they will receive for collaborating with her.
It's fine that people believe that. I've come to the conclusion that I have no control over it, and it's fine.
Again, totally agree that you don't have control over what people think of you, but perhaps the reason people have negative thoughts when it comes to your channel and brand is because of what you put out. She is doing a lot of things that are making people extraordinarily concerned about the well-being of her children. And that is valid criticism. Criticism you might not be able to control, but still valid.
I just get thrown off when it's people who are supposed to be in these professional settings who shouldn't be letting the drama of social media sway what they're doing with their businesses.
She then claims that it is drama circulating around her name that is swaying businesses to not want to work with her. This is more than just drama. This is something that is deeply concerning, and there are significant issues when it comes to the things that she posts on her TikTok page. Having an audience that is deeply concerned about the well-being of the people that you are caring for, reaching out to a brand saying, hey, maybe you should look into this person, and then they are putting pressure on them, of course it's going to put that brand in a very uncomfortable position, and they are likely not going to want to work with you further. And this is where she kind of turns into a Karen, in my opinion, by pulling the I'm a loyal customer card, which also, on top of that, makes me wonder, is she purchasing these products and reviewing them, then getting commission on it?
I've done nothing to anybody. I've done nothing but promote products positively and be as kind-hearted and genuine as I possibly can to people. I get it, but to just be like publicly, oh, I don't F with her kind of energy, it's just crazy because I've never done anything to you and all I was a positive customer.
Again, part of me almost almost feels bad for her due to how upset she sounds in this. It genuinely does sound like she's about to start crying, and that does make me want to feel bad, but it is also Stephanie Jenkins, and the last thing that really gets to me here, despite how upset she sounds, is the wording of the last sentence, which is check yourself.
I wish the best for your business. I took the video down respectfully, but also respectfully, maybe check yourself.
The audacity to say that when she is constantly posting content with extraordinarily concerning videos involving her children and exploiting them in some ways, I think you have to do a lot of reevaluating on your own content before you could say something like that to a brand that just doesn't want to be affiliated with you due to how much your audience expresses concern. There is another rumor I feel like needs to be mentioned, but take this with a grain of salt for right now because it is just speculation. Many people on TikTok have been speculating that she may allegedly be pregnant again. And I genuinely hope to the bottom of my heart that that is incorrect and that that is not true. And that in a couple months I can come back here and tell you that that was incorrect information. But the reason why people are speculating on that, one of them at least from what I've seen, is this video where she's trying on this outfit and you could see her belly.
See, let's check these out, okay? Don't watch. You can't deny. I wasn't expecting it to be this tight. Honestly, this is really comfortable though. This is comfy. It came in 3 different colors. Black, obviously. What do you call this? Beige and white. I think it's cute, it's comfortable. This material is super comfortable.
Maybe it's the angle. Maybe it's just the way she was standing. It could be something else. I don't know. But some people, including some of these comments here, are claiming that they believe she is trying to soft launch another pregnancy. I don't want to get too into this right now until we find out more information, until it is confirmed or denied, because if that is true, not only would that be the most irresponsible thing on top of everything else and absolutely infuriating, but I have questions on when and where and how, because they live in a single room and share that single room with 4 to 5 other kids. I have questions, but I'm gonna hold off on that for now because I genuinely want to believe that this is incorrect information, and right now, all I can say is it is speculation. It is not confirmed at this moment. God forbid I upload this and an update happens. I hope not. But yeah, this seems like a possibility, but not a fact at this current point in time. And please, dear God, let it be wrong. The only other thing that really bothered me, and I believe I saw this from Kirstie's video. If you don't know who Kirstie is, she has done several videos on the Resilient Jenkins. Stephanie made a comment about wanting to send cease and desists to people that are giving criticism to her or commentating or sending hate to her because of her videos she decides to share online.
I probably should have assumed that if I told you guys that I wasn't going to be sharing my children anymore, y'all would jump to the conclusion that you did it. You got our kids taken away from us like you're oh so freaking heavily trying to do. Like, I'm not aware that's a full-on mission of half the people that watch our stuff. However, our babies are fine, they're perfectly healthy, and they're definitely still with us at this freaking motel.
If I am correct, CPS has gotten involved in this situation, but I am unaware to the extent that they were involved in, or if they had done anything to help the children. It doesn't seem that they have. And at this point, from what I gather from her audience and others discussing this, it seems that people don't actually have any hope that CPS will help them in any way. And I don't think people are coming from a malicious intent with contacting CPS over something like that, because if you didn't know, filing a false CPS report can have legal consequences and can get you in trouble, number one. Number two, people have genuine concern. There is video documented evidence of very concerning behavior that is still up on your TikTok account as I speak. I don't think people would be cheering and jumping for joy over something that is this severe. I think that they are doing this out of extreme concern and possibly desperation to try and help in any way that they can. Whether or not that is going to help really depends on the system. It seems like it has a not as great of a reputation as it should for something that would be helping kids.
But I've learned I had to be a little more strategic with just what I post, because I try to share the real, the raw, the ugly, the things that people just don't like to share, the things they hide.
Stephanie, there have been multiple occasions where you have shown something on TikTok or have over-explained something on TikTok that you most likely did want to hide. Or at the very least, you wanted to control the narrative after realizing how much backlash you've gotten after sharing it, such as the situation with your cats, or problems with Drew's baby mamas, which I haven't even gotten into in this video, or concerns about the health and conditions of your children, especially your youngest.
But reality is just far too much for some people. Or the inability to take things for as they are and not sit there and spin every bit of what they see. Like, people just have no self-control. They want to do and spin whatever the if it fits their narrative and gets them their views. Because the people that I be seeing talking on us, man, you be getting mad views. You be getting way better revenue than I am.
At this point, she starts to get very bitter at the fact that other people are getting views on, I guess, TikTok or other forms of social media, maybe even YouTube, like commentary channels such as myself, talking about this situation. She still receives millions upon millions upon millions of views on her TikTok page. She just appears bitter about it that people are also getting views for discussing their concerns about it, because they are sharing concerns with others who are also concerned. After that, she gets into the cease and desist comment.
Literally imagine if I was able to have the time and resources to put out a cease and desist on everybody speaking on us. Y'all have not shit to talk about.
First of all, Stephanie, if you see this, I don't know how many commentary channels you watch, please educate yourself on fair use. Number two, all I'm gonna say is that there was another family channel that sent cease and desists out to commentary channels and whatever you want to call them channels for discussing their concerns about that family. All I'm gonna say is the mother in that situation is now in prison for child abuse. Yeah, it was that family channel, you know, Ruby Frankie. In all honesty, what I hope for out of all of this is that maybe at some point Stephanie can actually take the constructive criticism given to her by people. And by the way, I do understand when you are on the internet, no matter what you post, no matter how you post it, no matter how nice you are, no matter how not nice you are, you're going to get hate. You're going to get people that are going to say some nasty things. I do not condone that. I do not condone anybody going over to Stephanie's page and sending nasty comments or hate, or to anybody in that manner. The majority of the people that I am seeing are people who are upset, concerned, and very, very frustrated over the treatment of these poor kids. And to be honest, if Stephanie just did at least a few of the things that have been suggested for her to do since before they were kicked out of the apartment, I think she could really turn around and change the public perception on her if she could just not only take accountability, but also show her children and the world what being a decent parent actually looks like. Giving your children food and a roof over their head is the bare minimum that is legally required of you. Using them as props and pawns in your videos and using this as leverage to try and make more children, as she stated over a year ago that she wanted even more, it's not only degrading to them, but it's also just it's genuinely sickening. If I remember correctly, she had also talked about, whether it be in a live or in another TikTok video, where she was saying parents were acting like this way before social media was a thing. And they never received the criticism that I get. I'm paraphrasing because I don't think criticism is a word in her vocabulary. I think she really wants to label it as hate and as whatever makes her sound like a victim, like a lot of these family channels do when they receive backlash for what they decide to post online themselves. The thing is, exactly that. Stephanie, you decided to record yourself doing this and post it online for the public to see. You didn't get the response that you expected or wanted, which was praise. Instead, you were met with criticism and concern, and suggestions on how to be a better parent even. And people still, by the way, at points decided to help you out and send you Amazon wishlist items previously. which is another reason why I find it very hard to believe that this time around, this whole hacking thing happened. I don't know, it just sounds fishy to me, personally, in my opinion. You're receiving criticism because of what you put out, and in my personal opinion, it's not unwarranted. Any hate or harassment, I don't condone that. But people who are genuinely frustrated and concerned and are trying to give you advice or trying to say, hey, this isn't cool, this isn't right, yeah, that's valid in my opinion.
I honestly had like a whole plan of what I was going to say in this voiceover, and literally none of it is coming to me. But I guess what I just want to get at and say is that if you're one of those people who watches social media purely as just entertainment and doesn't sit there to watch and judge other people, you're a real one, okay? If you really think about it, like I don't even know how long social media has been a thing, baby. I ain't been on it for more than like 3-4 years. But when you look back at I don't even know how long, when social media wasn't a thing, you weren't able to sit there and nitpick other people's lives. You wouldn't have even known what the hell's going on with Joe in Kentucky.
When I first started covering the Resilient Jenkins channel, I genuinely believed in my heart that she had nothing but outpouring love for her children, and she just really wanted a big family, and she really did care about her kids. And the sad thing that I kept repeating is that no matter how much you love your kids, no matter how much you want to care for them in the ways that you do, it's not enough sometimes, and that's a really sad reality, especially in today's day and age. All that to say, though, I genuinely believed that she did really, really, really care for her children, and the anger that she would express online was because she cared for her children, but it was misinterpreted because she wasn't taking care of her children the way that people thought she should be. But as these videos go on, and the decisions that her and Drew make together, part of me thinks that the way she acted previously was kind of a facade. Especially, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope there isn't any, but especially if there is any substance issues going on, because not only then are you putting your children in a situation that could be traumatic, but it is also dangerous. And I'm not saying she doesn't love her kids, but what I'm saying is that she just doesn't appear as wholesome as she at least attempted to appear previously. But that's where I think I'm going to end today's video. I know this one was a little bit all over the place. I'm glad to be back. I apologize for the absence, and I hope that this year is a much more productive one. Last year, as I mentioned, a lot of things have been going on, and I'm hoping that we're at the light at the end of the tunnel here, and after this month, things will get a lot smoother, but we're gonna take it one day at a time and do our best. And that's just personal stuff. I'm not talking about everything going on in the world. That's also really rough right now. And I'll probably talk about that in another video because it doesn't feel appropriate to just throw into this. I hope everyone out there watching is doing well, and that you're okay, and that your day hasn't been entirely ruined by this situation at the very least. Thank you so much if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, and thank you so much to everybody who has been supporting me over on Patreon and or through YouTube memberships. I greatly, greatly appreciate it, and for the first time in a long time, I'm going to be linking both in the description below. I suggest you only pick one or the other, but I do want to open those back up for anybody who wants to also support, but please do not feel like you have to by any means. If you do, I'd greatly appreciate it, but please don't feel like you have to. There is a $1 tier for early access, and there is a $5 tier to get your name added to the end of my videos, and I'm going to be working on some other fun little things as well. So yeah, and with that being said, please definitely go check out Otter Spirit. They are an absolutely fantastic website, and they are a very, very kind family-owned business, and I really just think it's a great thing to support, and I'm still wearing mine. Okay, my hands are a little messed up, forgive me for that, but I'm still wearing mine. This is the citrine bracelet that I mentioned earlier, and I still have my selenite bracelet, and yeah, I love them very, very much, so go check them out as well. Thank you so much if you've made it to this point of the video again, and with that being said, I'll see you again very, very soon in the next video.